All right, so I just finished The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson, and at this point I've read all of her books. I love them all for the most part. I think that this one in particular improves upon a lot of things that I may have not preferred about the final entry in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. But just to talk about those, I think like the first one's amazing, and the twists in the second and third can get a bit like iffy and convenient. And this will be non-spoiler, obviously, just because I think it's kind of been under the radar. I don't really want to like go around saying how it ends and having people not, it doesn't really matter because there would be a warning anyway. But um I think that one thing that this book improves upon, like As Good as Dead, As Good as Dead is kind of missing like the point where the story concludes in the murder mystery. Like these are true crime novels, and I think what As Good as Dead is missing is like, the Fellowship of the Ring is reuniting and everybody's back together, and you see Sauron, not Sauron, Aragorn and Frodo, Gandalf, whoever it may be, and because of like plausible deniability and As Good as Dead, that is how it concludes with Pippa not meeting up with the rest of the crew. But in this novel in particular, um, Belle, like the conclusion works really well, and it doesn't really leave any questions for the future. Like it could have been, it could have gone really incredibly wrong and left it open for interpretation, and it leaves the reader questioning if Rachel actually had more to do with certain stuff than she was making it out to be, and if she was lying and things like that. But yeah, we get a good conclusion here. And I don't know, just to talk about it in general, I think that this book improves a lot upon an answering truly everything, and I think that's because it's not meant to be a series. I think this is a standalone book, and that's pretty um it's advantageous to do it that way with the way it ends. But anyway, I think like a good girl's guide to murder is such like a fantastic book, and even the novella Killjoy is good as well. That's more of like a cute interpretation of what Pippa was like before that, though. But um, we get our main cast here, similar to what she's done in her other books. Are Belle and Ash like Pippa and Ravi? Yeah, but they're completely different in their own ways as well. Belle's more pessimistic, and she has a form of trauma and abandonment, and maybe just not PTSD, but like a fear of that happening. And Holly Jackson, like dives into that with her other books as well, and that's more like in the darker portions of a good girl's guide to murder. My God, I'm stuttering. But yeah, even though Red from Five Survive and like all these characters are, in the same realm, they're in the same ballpark. It's still like distinctive, and this is maybe like her best protagonist yet. It's hard to say because you know Belle Belle changed a lot as a person throughout the book, and she was trying to uncover the mystery of what was happening, and she was kind of once again being pessimistic to people. And at points you could probably like interpret it as her being a spoiled brat, but it's not really how it is, because she's like dealing with things, and she's dealing with the literal disappearance and reappearance of her mother. And you know in comparison, like Pippa got an entire novel, three novels to herself for character growth, and she'll probably be the protagonist that Holly Jackson will be remembered for unless she does like another series. But that's not like a knock at Red and Belle in this. Like Belle is like what detectives aspire to be, and people can find themselves in Belle through like, you know, being pessimistic is like a inherited character trait for many people, and you can really try and get rid of it and everything, and it's going to be hard to trust people and things like that. Like this book brings up a lot of serious themes, and themes of reoccurring things bothering you in life, and on top of that, it's a murder, not a murder mystery, but it's a true crime novel. And what Holly Jackson does so good is the world building within it. Like, we're meeting a character who, I'm sure everybody has listened to a podcast or got into some documentary film about a famous person who seemingly disappeared and nobody knows where they went. But here we have that answer. What would happen if that person came back into society? How would they be treated, by the media, by their family? Um, and yeah, Rachel is that real life figure. Like, um, I'm not really like too heavy into like the true crime and things like that, but I've heard of like random stories that I can't like picture and uh, name off the top of my head, but she's like part of that, and it's like the personification of that, and that's really interesting. And what's scary about this book is that Belle has to literally live with this person that she's like, intimidated by because of her fame and her likeliness and all of that. But she's scared of, what the truth is. But um yeah, I think like a lot of what Belle does, and a lot of like her relationship with Carter, like a lot of it is really well written, and towards the end we find out more about them, and that makes the relationship even stronger. It might be too much, sorry about that, but yeah, I really don't know why this is kind of going like, it's not selling like hotcakes like as many people thought it would. Like, I remember seeing that Good Girls Guide to Murder was like still number one on whatever list, even those lists are like curated and subjected, and like, I don't know if you don't know, but like the New York Times bestsellers is not all that it's made out to be. Like, it's not truly like the bestsellers. Like, they have to exempt some stuff and um inflate other things. But uh, besides that tangent, yeah, this book isn't selling as well as I would think it would, just from like the eye test. But I think that it works well, like almost perfectly, with the release of the Emma Myers series coming out, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And I don't think that's by accident either. And not that that's like a bad thing. Not that I'm saying that she's like Holly Jackson's like bourgeoisie or whatever. But yeah, it's really good that like people could be exposed to it and get into this. And they're not easily digestible novels, but like for people that are into true crime, or like maybe people like me who aren't really into it, but I like my fair dosage of it. Yeah, it's good for that reason. And yeah, this book is phenomenal. I wouldn't really point or try to implement it into like a certain ranking of the books. I really love Five Survive. Five Survives. It seems like the most like her. It seems like she's like, Holly Jackson as a writer is like showing off her personality, and like, every chapter ends on a cliffhanger, kind of like Netflix documentaries or whatever. Oh, back to that though. I think that it's ironic and probably purposeful that they mention Knives Out in the book, because this book, um, the reappearance of Rachel Pierce. My God, I think that like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I got that one now, but like these titles are too long for me to say. I'm just like stuttering over all of them. But The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Um, yeah, I think that this book is basically her glass onion, and um, with reading it, you can really tell that like there's like a mystery, but it's not really what it's made out to be, and things aren't as they seem. And yeah, I think that uh, it's time to do that because sometimes it becomes like a bit difficult to do this same thing over and over again, like going over the crime scene happened here and this person has an alibi and it took them this amount of time to get this, and they had this amount of time and they possibly could have done something. Like it just gets difficult to do that over and over again. And I think that this like switch up, like I said, her glass onion, um but yeah, like I said, this novel would be her version of glass onion. Still drastically different, but yeah, I think doing that is cathartic in a way. Like just kind of presenting something as a mystery, and it's like a cognitive exercise, and things just turn out differently than somebody looking into all the details and being like all scrupulous about it.